The burden of being ordinary, why we fear we don't matter. There's a moment in life when you look around and realize no one's coming to save you. No chosen one. No hero. No prophecy. Just you, stuck in a world that doesn't make sense anymore. And in that moment, you have two choices: break apart or break through. That's the moment where omniscient reader's viewpoint begins. Not with power, not with glory, but with a quiet, lonely man reading a story no one else cared about. Dokja wasn't anyone special. He was just a reader, one among millions, invisible in the crowd, until the day that story, the web novel he'd followed for years, suddenly became reality, and everyone around him realized they were trapped in a nightmare, except him, because he already knew what was coming. But this isn't a story about being overpowered. It's a story about becoming. At first, Dokja doesn't fight because he's brave. He fights because he has to. Because if he doesn't move, he'll die. If he doesn't think ahead, someone else will suffer. And that's when something begins to change, not just around him, but within him. You see, Dokja isn't strong at first. He's afraid. He doubts himself constantly. He makes mistakes. He loses people. But every time he gets knocked down, he chooses to keep going. Why? Because deep down, he knows something most people forget. You don't need to be the protagonist of someone else's story. You can become the hero of your own. That realization doesn't come with applause. It comes in silence. When no one is watching, when your legs are shaking and your mind is screaming at you to give up. But still, you keep moving. Even if it's just one step. That's what Dokja teaches us. That survival isn't about luck or talent. It's about responsibility. He knows the story. He's seen how it ends. And he decides to fight. Not just for himself, but for the people beside him. For those who still believe. For those who are trying. For those who can't. He takes all the pain, all the fear, all the loneliness, and turns it into fuel. He becomes someone who can bear the weight no one else can. And here's what's wild. He doesn't do it alone. Omniscient Reader shows us that strength isn't a solo journey. Yes, Dokja grows, but so do those around him. Because of him. Because he believes in them. Even when they don't believe in themselves. Isn't that what we all need sometimes? Just one person to say, I see you, I believe in you. Keep going. And every time he rose, he got a little closer to becoming who he was meant to be. Not someone who waited for change, but someone who created it. That's the message I carry with me now. That maybe you don't have all the answers. Maybe you're scared. Maybe life feels like a world collapsing all around you. But if Dokja taught me anything, it's this. You're the only one who's read your story up until this point. You know the battles you fought, the monsters you've faced, the chapters you've survived. And that means more than anyone. You're the only one qualified to write what comes next. So write it. Choose to act. Choose to speak. Choose to fight, even when it's hard. Even when it doesn't make sense. Even when no one else understands. Because you're not background noise. You're not a side character. You are the only version of yourself this world will ever get. And if you're still here, still breathing, still fighting, then you still have a role to play. Maybe not as a chosen one, but as someone who chooses themselves. So, don't wait for someone to hand you a script. Pick up the pen, turn the page, and keep writing. Your story isn't over. It's just beginning. No one's going to write your story for you, but I'll be here with more stories that remind you you can. So if this moved you, like, comment your favorite line and hit subscribe. Let's keep becoming.